Hello, welcome to my channel. Please excuse us if you hear a lot of thunder noise because we're having a thunder and lightning storm. But I am here to prepare for tomorrow's lovely prawns and chicken curry for lunch. So I am going to start off to marinate my prawns and my chicken for keeping it overnight after marinating, but it's optional. You can do it about 2 or 3 hours before cooking your curry. But a marinade that's stay in the fridge for overnight gives more better flavor. I have over here 300 grams of prawns. That is quite a little because our family is small, and I've left just 2 whole just to show you all how I clean the prawns. So this is how we remove the shell out of the prawns, and then the tail, and this is the head. I had to get a knife to devein that. This is the prawns. Remove the shell off. The head is splashed. This is how I'm going to devein. We cut the center, and then there's a black vein here, so we'll pull it out fully. So that's done. And this one. And there's the vein. That's how we devein our prawns. Now I'm going to rinse this quickly and add it to the rest of the prawn. Now I'm ready to marinate my prawns, of which I got washed out thoroughly and rinsed. And then I have a 40 gram of butter melted. With that I have a 5 cloves of garlic peeled. Then I'm going to use a sprinkle of mixed herbs and a dash of lemon juice, a teaspoon of soy sauce, and I'm also using a generous sprinkle of paprika and a grind of black pepper. Firstly, I'm going to just grind my old garlic quite roughly. And this garlic I have, it's quite strong. And I'm going to just put my garlic into my butter. And I'm going to mix up this, let it stand for a while. And then my mixed herbs, just a little. Teaspoon of the soy sauce. Now I add in my garlic butter to it and give it a good mix. So that's marinated. So this will sit in the fridge overnight. I will cling wrap the prawns and let it sit in the fridge overnight. Yeah, I have my chicken breast that I stripped into nice pieces, which I washed and cleaned. This chicken breast is 400 gram. Then for the marinade, I have a tablespoon of chicken spice, a teaspoon of ginger garlic. I'm also going to use a sprinkle of mixed herbs and a dash of lemon juice, a squeeze of black pepper, and a tablespoon of olive oil for the marinade. I'm going to give this a good mix and also let this to sit in the fridge overnight. If you have a bigger family, you can add on more chicken and more prawns, because we have a very small family, and also Pranesh is allergic to shellfish, so it's just two of us that's going to partake in the meal. So that's the reason why I'm making so little. This is my prawns head and my prawn shell that I rinsed out thoroughly, and I'm going to make a lovely stock for tomorrow's curry. So with that, I'm going to add some mixed herbs and a tablespoon of stock, which is a vegetable stock, to half a liter of water. I'm going to put this onto the stove and allow it to boil for about 20 minutes, and I will strain it out, and when it's cool I'll let it rest in the fridge, of which I'll use for my curry tomorrow. These are the shells and the head. It holds a lot of flavor, so that's the reason why we don't let it go to waste. Here's my stock that's boiled out, and you can see it's gone nice and pink color. That means it's fully done. So now I'm gonna strain the water gently. And I'll keep this in the fridge for my curry tomorrow. Usually whenever cooking prawns, you can do this and freeze your stock up, so when you're cooking fish curry or any seafood, it gives a great flavor in seafood. There's my chicken and my prawns that are already clean wrapped. I'm already done with my preparation for tomorrow's curry. When this cool down, I also clean wrap it and put it overnight in the fridge. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today is the next day. This is my chicken that's I marinated yesterday, and my prawns and my stock, which all these were done yesterday, And now I'm ready to cook the curry for today. I have 1 small onions grated, 2 large tomatoes grated, and I have a tablespoon of mixed masala, but to bring out more flavors, I have a teaspoon of dhania and jeera powder together with a small teaspoon of haldi and half a teaspoon of elaichi powder. And then for the roasting, how I usually show y'all, I dry roast it in my pot. I cut half a teaspoon of mustard seed, half a teaspoon of jeera, half a teaspoon of som, and half a teaspoon of dhania seed, which will be dry roasted and ground out. For tasting, I just have half a teaspoon of sugar and 1 teaspoon of salt, because I have a knowledge of our marinate has its own salts and the stock also has its own salt. And then for the braising, I have nice fresh thyme from the garden, of which half I'll ground, and chilies. We don't want to make the food too hot, so these half will be ground and half for the frying. And so goes to the dhania. Half of this dhania will be ground and half of this dhania will be for garnishing. Then I have 100 grams of butter. Of 50 grams I'll use for frying out my prawns, and 50 grams to cook my chicken in. And then to end it off, I have a cup of coconut milk. And then for the garnishing, I have lovely fresh spring onions. So now we are ready to cook. First I'll start off frying my ingredients and grinding it out. This is my dry spice that I ground. I'm gonna add it to my other masala. Now I'm gonna take my little bit of dhania and thyme and my chilies and crush it down and add this to my tomato. It's just to bring out that lovely flavor from the dhania and the thyme. As you can see, I put a little bit tomato to my crushed herbs and I ground it, and I'm going to add it to the tomatoes. I've got my stove on moderate heat, and I added a dash of olive oil to it, so it will avoid the butter from getting burnt. So this is a 50 gram butter. Firstly, I'm going to give the prawns a quick fry. Just allow it to fry for about 2 minutes on either side, not overdoing it. The prawns are done. It's not overdone, it's just fried on the either side. So now I'm going to add in my other 50 grams of butter. I think so. While the butter is melting, I'm going to add in my grated onions. Allow these onions to brown a little. My onions are done, and I forgot to mention a little bit of curry leaf. So first I put in my curry leaf, and then my masalas. Then my ground masala. Give this a good stir. Together with my thyme. Now I'll add in my chicken. And together with my chicken, I'm also going to add in my salt and my sugar. I'll lower my heat and allow this to fry out thoroughly. 10 minutes has passed us. You can see how lovely, beautiful color the chicken has taken. And now I'm going to add in my tomato that was ground with the herbs and the tomato. And the stock that I made has come to a 3/4 cup. So I'm adding in the stock to cook into. And maybe I give this another 15 minutes after giving it a good stir. I let this to cook out for about 15 minutes. 15 minutes has passed us. We tasted the salt and adjusted our salt accordingly. The tomatoes has cooked out well together with the stock. And now I'm going to add in my prawns just to let it simmer for a little while, not overcooking. I'll leave it for about 5 minutes and then check on it. 5 minutes has passed and you can see how nice the prawns and the chicken is combined together. Now I'm going to add in my coconut milk and let it to simmer to another 5 minutes and then garnish. Five minutes has passed and you can see so good the curry looks. So now I'm going to garnish it with a little bit my dhania and spring onions, and then I'm ready to serve. Here you go, a lovely prawns and chicken curry, looking very delicious, and it goes very well with hot roti. This was a little bit of complicated recipe, but it given a good results in the end. I hope you all try it, enjoy, and thank you all for watching.